Hello again to all of our beautiful listeners. Um, my name is Wilson, and unfortunately, again today, Mr. Billy is off on his journey of finding his long lost family. I would say, yeah. So, long story short, he's on a trip, and he basically told me to cover about 2 episodes, which I'm more than happy to do so. And I myself have treated myself really, really nicely to go on a little vacation to Hong Kong, actually. And along the way, I actually been watching a lot of movies on the plane, because that's the only thing you can do on the plane is to watch films, right? Unless if you have consoles with you, which I do actually, but I'm just too lazy to get up and take out the console from the luggage and play it with me. But hey, you know, I am actually pretty happy with what I have chosen for my in flight movie entertainment. So, Plan 75 is the film that I watched, one of the many films that I've watched, which I think is worth talking about, because this is a film that's directed by Chiya Hayakawa. I myself am not very familiar with this guy. Yep, definitely not. I think he. Oh, sorry, she. It's a woman. She has been making not a lot of films actually, so that's totally makes sense. But you know what? This is a pretty decent film that I would like to recommend to people because um, it's actually regarding about a bunch of these senior citizens in Japan, right? Because the fact that Japan has a aging population where there's actually more elder people now than younger people, because of lots of reasons, economy, politics, social, pretty kind of not great social welfare. You name it. You name it, right? It's not great, but this is what it is, and at least in this film, the government decided to do a program where they can actually um, assist the death of these elderly people, right? Because the fact that these elderly people are actually affecting younger people from getting jobs, here and there, which I completely understand, but it's also kind of, a little twisted. But hey, there's not really much you can do. So, that's Plan 75. And actually, in this film, it was actually more focusing on a few characters. So, one character is played by an elderly woman. I believe her name is Michi. Um, I forgot what's the name of a like the the pronoun, no, not pronoun, the little abbreviation before you call the person like Mr. or Mrs. I just call it Mrs. Michi. So she is one of the elderlies in this film, and she actually I think she is hesitant to take the program. She actually did take the program, but you can clearly tell that the whole film she's actually struggling to. It's like, oh wow, I wanna take it, because yeah, I have nothing much left that's going on for me. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids, so might as well just do it, right? But hey, um, it's honestly a really really hard thing to it's a hard pill to swallow because it deals with such a really realistic subject and it's actually even happening like now. I'm not sure if Plan 75 is actually based on a real thing. I might have to do some research, but if it is, I'm definitely not surprised, because you really want, like you sympathize with Mrs. Michi here, Kakatuni, because you want her to live her best life, if that makes sense. Which I believe she kind of did in the past. She already pretty much have experienced everything she needs to experience, and now she's basically at the end of her line, and she's like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna end. But I think throughout the film, if I'm not mistaken, right? So later on, she met with this call center lady, right? So she was, I believe she was thinking to end her Plan 75 program, because actually in the film it was actually already established and also repeated again and again that you can end your program even after you sign up. It's definitely possible, and there's no repercussions, and there's no extra charging whatsoever. It's a completely free program because it's governmentally funded. So and actually, I always forgot to tell you, there is a $1,000, I think $1,000 bond that you get if you sign up for this program, which is very weird. I mean, I understand because you want to live your best life, but she basically is like, I don't want to do this, like, fuck it. I want to give the money to someone else who actually needs it. And she kind of did find somebody, and that person is this call center lady, and they actually formed like some sort of this friendship bond, and they both decided to meet together in person and have fun together, which actually is one of my favorite scenes in the film. So they go to a local bowling bowling arcade alley. I'm not sure what it's called. I don't play that much like bowling. I don't play that much sports. I know it's a shame, right? This fucking potato doesn't play sports. Well, it does make sense, but anyway. So they both go to this bowling alley and they play bowling. It's a very wholesome moment, actually. But the thing is, what struck out is that she mentions to her, like this call center lady, like Mrs. Michi said, hey, I used to go here, many times with my late husband, and it hasn't changed in a bit. It's like, wow. So, she has she's definitely not somebody who just sticks being in their house like a hikikomori, because she says that this place never changed since I got here. So she's been here multiple times, that's for sure. And it does also give her like this character a little bit more like personality as well, which is a very subtle way to say, like, to show the audience that she's not as boring as you think. She's just kind of fed up with her life now. That makes sense. Anyway, then later on, she basically gave a call again to this lady, and then she said, hey, I don't know what to say, but thank you for doing this. And then I think they have a bit of a conversation about like canceling the plan. And then the lady says, "Oh no, it's okay." And then, but the thing is that it's such a really heart-wrenching moment, because Mrs. Michi says she's okay with it, but the way she says it is really, she's very hesitant, if that makes sense, because she has found like some sort of this little connection that she has been longing for a long time, because she doesn't really connect with anybody besides this person for some reason. And so by the time when she actually goes to that procedure where she has to, right, the call center lady actually tries to use her personal phone to call her, and she didn't, but she didn't pick it up, which is really like, man, that really touched my heart, man. That's such a sad moment. Yeah. But that's one of the plots in the film. Actually, there's like a few plots here and there. So that's one plot. The plot I am actually less interested in, where there's this Filipino, migrant worker. Her name is Maria, actually played by a Filipino Japanese actress. Just very interesting. So she actually works as a social worker in Japan, and she goes to church, blah blah blah. Like a normal, your average Filipino migrant worker. There's nothing special about her, honestly, except the fact that she was helped by one of her church communities, saying that, hey, I heard you were paid like really shit in your current workplace. You want to get a better job? And she goes, yeah, sure, why not? So she ended up going to a basically she works as like this worker who tidies up people who are basically already dead. When like those people who actually go through Plan 75 until the end, and when they die, because they have possessions, right? They have like things with them, and then her job is to basically sort them out, and whether to donate to charity, whether to sell, blah blah blah, right? That's basically her job. She's basically like cleaning up, but for different purposes. And there's this scene that struck out to me. We were there, like this guy says, let's say her instructor, right? Her coach, because she's new in the job. And then the coach says, hey, if you say, hey, here's a bracelet, it's still really good. So I'm pretty sure it has good value. Go use it. I know you're struggling to feed your family. Like you're a single mom. Your kids. Go, take it. And then she's like, oh no, I don't want that. It's like, hey, come on, man, these people are dead, all right? You might as well just take it anyway. That doesn't even fucking matter. So it's just like, oh, okay, all right. Just puts it in her pocket. It's such a wholesome movie, actually. There's very little extraordinary things that happening. Let's say like, oh well, there's an explosion, or like these nonsensical melancholic drama that's like super exaggerated. There's almost none of that, honestly. It's very straightforward, and I think that in and of itself is also the issue, because it's such a straightforward film that it doesn't really like there's not much, how do you say this, I don't feel any sense of agency, like with any of these characters. Yes, like you do feel that you feel bad that you feel a sense of some small hints of danger, right, quote unquote danger, but it's nothing like, oh wow, this is if this person died, I really feel really bad. Like let's say if you see Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, if he dies, you feel really bad, right? Because you kind of care for the character. But in this case, it's just it's like it's an inevitable escape from demise, because there's only one way out, and you just have to accept it. And I think it's fine with the film, but I think the film could do a little bit more with some just a little bit more with like some dramas, or maybe I myself, I really love those little like philosophical stuffs that sprinkled throughout. Something like Drive My Car, actually, that one I really love, because they even though the pacing is slow, I'd say it's just as slow as this film, but at least that one, they have purpose to whatever that comes on screen, right? So it's not only just the characters that's trying to deal with like this, like the main character in the movie. He's trying to deal with like his wife has like this mental issue, and then he just has to like, okay, you know what, um I have to take a break, and I'll see what I can do with, to deal with this hardship. And then along the way, he met like a couple of people that's really willing to help him, help his play, blah blah blah. But here, I don't know. There's something missing. That's, I think they can just put a little bit more, sprinkles throughout. It's just, it feels a little bit incomplete. If that makes sense. Still pretty decent. I won't lie. I would personally recommend for people, especially who are Japanese. I would actually recommend people who are Japanese to actually watch this, to be honest with you, because it is a serious subject, and I think more people should be aware of this because it is happening, right? This is a really serious issue that people need to be aware of, in case if they're not aware of. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I'm sorry, but because I have a better film that I actually want to recommend besides this one. That's a much better one, which it will be up for next week. So stay tuned for that. All right. So yes, you guys can find us on, everywhere you can imagine. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Well, obviously you can find us on YouTube, right? That's just because this is where we usually do our podcast, video podcast, if that makes sense. Obviously, you can follow our social medias like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. We're actually thinking of posting something new there, so keep an eye out. Don't miss it. So, I guess that's all for today. Until next time, catch you on the flip side.